There was a knock on Ruth's door. Not loud, not aggressive. Professional. The man outside wore a uniform. He carried a clipboard. And everything about him said, "Open the door." The camera would later show she hesitated for only 14 seconds. Ruth lived alone in a mid-sized apartment building on a quiet street. The kind of place that felt invisible. No crime tape. No sirens. No stories that made the news. She had lived there for 9 years. Same neighbors. Same routines. She locked her door every night, checked her windows, and never answered late knocks. But she trusted systems. The building had posted emergency procedures on every floor. Maintenance notices. Utility alerts. Emergency access protocols. Authority to Ruth meant structure. Structure meant safety. That night, she had fallen asleep watching television. The power had flickered earlier. Nothing unusual. She assumed it was the grid. At 2:13 a.m., her door camera activated. The hallway CCTV shows a man stepping into frame. Reflective vest. Official-looking badge clipped to his chest. A laminated ID that caught the light just long enough to look legitimate. He knocked once. Waited. Then knocked again, slower this time. Ruth appeared on the other side of the door, visible only through the peephole camera. She didn't open it immediately. She asked who he was. The man spoke calmly. There was a reported water pressure issue. Possible leak affecting units on her floor. He needed to check her bathroom valve. He didn't rush her. Didn't raise his voice. Didn't stand too close to the door. He even stepped back, something investigators would later note as deliberate. At 2:14 a.m., Ruth unlocked the door. The door opened for 14 seconds. That's how long it took for trust to override instinct. The hallway camera shows Ruth stepping aside politely, gesturing toward the interior of her apartment. No struggle. No alarm. No indication she believed anything was wrong. The man entered. At 2:15 a.m., the door closed. Softly. For the next 12 minutes, the hallway camera recorded nothing unusual. That's what makes this part disturbing. No sounds. No raised voices. No sudden movement. At 2:27 a.m., the man exited the apartment alone. He paused in the hallway, adjusted his vest, placed something carefully on the floor near the stairwell. Then he walked away. Neighbors slept through everything. By morning, Ruth didn't answer her phone. When police reviewed the footage, it all looked routine. A late-night maintenance check. An orderly exit. Until they slowed it down. They noticed something subtle. The ID badge never displayed a name. The vest wasn't issued by the building. And the clipboard, blank paper. The real twist didn't come from the footage. It came from the building records. There was no reported water issue that night. No maintenance request. No emergency call. But there had been one 3 weeks earlier. In another building. 2 blocks away. Same uniform. Same knock. Same explanation. Different woman. She survived because she never opened the door. When detectives compared descriptions, they realized something chilling. The uniform was real. Stolen months earlier from a closed construction site. The badge? Authentic. Outdated but genuine. The man wasn't pretending to be an authority. He had studied one. Remember the object he placed near the stairwell? It was the folded uniform. Neatly arranged. Almost respectful. Investigators later realized why. He didn't want to leave with it. Because uniforms can be traced. And he never planned to use it again. Inside Ruth's apartment, there were no signs of forced entry. Because there was no force. No broken locks. No overturned furniture. Just absence. The cameras didn't capture what happened inside. They only captured the moment Ruth believed she was safe. Weeks later, police arrested a suspect tied to multiple impersonation cases. None of them violent until this one. He wasn't impulsive. He was patient. He didn't break into homes. He waited to be invited. Ruth followed every rule she knew. She locked her door. She asked questions. She trusted the uniform. But authority isn't safety. And sometimes the most dangerous knock is the one that sounds official. Because it doesn't demand entry. It's invited in.